Welcome to class 26 of business environment. So we are moving to the fourth chapter titled socio-cultural environment. So first the introduction. So business has certain social objectives besides economic objectives. So business is a part of society. Business is prevailing within the society. So business has some responsibilities towards the society because society is expecting something from the business. So it is a duty of the business to satisfy the society first. So business has certain social objectives beside its economic objectives. So business and culture are closely connected and they influence each other. Okay, so as I have told you, so that business and culture is closely connected. So culture prevails in the society and the culture of people who are there in the society will affect the decision of business. Social and cultural environment refers to influence exercised by certain social and cultural factors. So certain cultural factors like your family, marriage, religion, education, attitude of people to work, ethics, attitude to wealth, and the social responsibility of business. Okay, the culture of a society can directly affect the management approaches and organizational behavior. So the taste and preference, the method of consumption, the purpose and occasion of consumption, the purpose of consumption, etc. of the product, so may show a wide difference between culture. The types of product to be manufactured, the methods of marketing of products, the organization of business, etc. are also influenced by the structure and culture of the society. So cultural difference is one of the most difficult problem, so normally in your international business. So before going to this in detail, let's study what is society. So society, some author says that society is a web of social relationship. Okay, so just as a life is not a thing but a process of living, so the society is not a thing but a process of associating. So here web, associating. Okay, so the term society refers not to group of people but to the complex pattern of the norms and of interaction, so that arises among and between them. So that consists of not only the mutual interactions and mutual interrelations of the individuals, but it is also the structure formed by these relations. So then what is, we also say that society is not a group of people. So it is a system of relationship that exists between the individual of groups, or we can say society may be defined as a total complex of human relation in so far as they grow out of action in terms of mean and relations. So all these things we are going to define as society. So what is this culture then? What is culture? So culture in simple terms, when we study, culture means it refers to the activities. So activities like your dance, drama, and your music and festivals, etc. But in true sense, when we see culture, so we understand it as a complex of whole which includes the knowledge, belief, art, law, morals, customs, and other capabilities acquired by an individual as a member of society, right? So culture, so there are some elements of cultures like your knowledge and beliefs, ideals, preferences. So business is closely related to the culture. So cultural characteristics are very important in formulation of business strategies. The cost of ignoring the customs, traditions, so taste, preference, etc., can be very high. So the interface between the business and culture can be understood. So like from the following, like culture creates people, culture and globalization. So attitude of business, attitude to work. So all these things, ambition, education, family, ethics in business, time dimension, religion and business. So marriage. So all these are the things by which we can understand how business is related to culture. So the concept and nature of socio-cultural environment. So the meaning of socio-cultural environment is nothing but socio-cultural factors of business. So we have studied the factors of social society, so factors of culture. So the factors of these two which influence or implied in the business, so we call it as socio-cultural environment. So socio-cultural factors relating to the prevailing society, so social and cultural conditions in the society. So social factors or conditions may include social organization, institutions like marriage, family, then society, ownership, etc. So cultural factors includes your customs, tradition, values, beliefs, language, religion, etc. And these two terms, society and culture, are interdependent. So every society is identified with a specific cultural practice, and cultures are specific to each society. So we have a different culture. Our culture is different from the western culture. So our culture, we say we are traditional, so whereas the western culture is very bold and dynamic. So culture differs from country to country, society to society sometimes. So in India what happens, normally the families own the business. Okay, so the head of the family normally controls the business and family. So this is quite opposite to the western culture, where one finds a professional manager controlling business. So there will be the professional manager to control business, but here the family is going to control the business. So the socio-cultural environment has a great influence on business. So the nature of product, type of business, size of business, ownership and management, marketing practices, so etc. So are all influenced by the socio-cultural environment, so of that society. Okay. So when we see normally the culturals, so how this culture is going to affect the business. So we have said that there are many factors that is going to affect the, or which we can understand how there is a relationship between business and culture. So culture creates people, we say. So it is a culture which generally determines the ethics of people. So it tends to train a people along with a particular line which puts a personality stamp so on them, like Indians. So there is a different culture. Americans, so different culture. Japanese, Britishers, so different culture, right? So there are subculture within culture also. So when people with different cultural background promote, own and manage the organization, so then the organizations themselves tend to acquire the distinct culture. Okay, so India, if the Indians are going to have the business, so they are going to perform their business activity as per their culture. Americans follow their own culture, Japanese and British follow their own culture. So what happens, so we can recognize the business with its culture, or we can easily recognize the culture of the business. So there is something link in between that. So family, we say. So the family is one of the chief agency of social life, right? So the family is an important for various reasons. So such as your property rights, protection, morality, so care of sick and aged. So all these things. So there are some cultural values in the family. So nuclear families are there. So nuclear family means so which have become common in our society, so in place of joint family system, so we have very small families here. So with the big families being broken up, family business are slowly turning into limited companies. Okay, so what happens now? So when there was a large family or a big family, joint family, so there was one business, so now it is been turning into the limited business. So all these developments are the important to business, right? So the next is your education also. The traditional society education was a preserve, or we can say only the Brahmins will have the education. So things have changed over the passage of time. So education institutions have come up now in all corners of the country. So and now we have more number of primary schools. So education benefits are there. So education benefits business are there. So business in turn has responded and started supporting education. So this system is manifested in starting and maintaining the educational institution, sponsoring employees for continuing the education, and bearing the cost of education of employees' children. So these are some of the cultural things where we can say there is a link between business and the culture. Thank you.